Hello, and welcome to my cave, my new cave here. I'm still in China, and I've taken my second bedroom and I've turned it into kind of like a pseudo recording studio. I put some padding up against the wall and on my desk to muffle the sound because it's very difficult for me to make any content because things are a little difficult these days, as you may know. On summer break, I wanted to go to Beijing, but unfortunately, there was a little situation up there, and we were advised not to go. And that would have been a whole slew of videos that I could have made. Plus, I just wanted to go back to Beijing. I was there once for I think 3 or 4 days when I first got here, and I wanted to go back. So I'll be doing some vlogging. So this is going to be my new vlogging arena. Let me know what you think. As you know, I'm a Raiders fan. Anyway, a lot of teachers here in China. It's a big place. A lot of teachers may be thinking about coming here, and there's a lot of teachers that are saying there's no way that I would ever go to China. China. But this video is going to be 5 reasons why China may be the best teacher destination right now. And to get right into it, the first one is the most obvious thing. If you're into teaching, if you're looking at job forums and things like that, you'll understand this. It's money. China is probably the best paying country in the world right now when it comes to the total number of jobs where you can find high paying jobs. The only one that comes close would be, or the only one that's similar, maybe very similar, is the Middle East. The only thing is, I've never really considered the Middle East. I'm not saying I would never go there. Maybe I'll be there in the future sometime. But because of the nature of the fact that some of these countries are very strict Muslim countries, in many cases, it's you're going to be living in a compound of teachers. And that's not really what I ever intended for my life as I traveled abroad and became an expat and using teaching to kind of see the world. So that would be a tough one for me. The other thing, there's just some strict cultural guidelines of things you can do, you can't do, who you can talk to out in public. I don't know a whole lot about it. I just know it's strict. I know you can't speak to women out in public in some of these very strict countries, but the whole compound living thing kind of throws me off. These are Muslim countries, and so they have their way of doing things. But China also has its set of circumstances, but it's not like that. And so the pay is very good here. And why is the pay very good? Well, you've got a huge population, 1.5 billion people. They are now just coming into, very recently, into enormous amounts of money. They've always been headstrong on education. And so this whole push on education being done in English and just the need for English instruction is now going through the roof. But for reasons that exist, there isn't quite the push for teachers the excitement of teachers to come to China. So simple economics, it's going to push the salaries up, which is a good thing. By contrast, you've got Korea and Japan, and they're stagnant. The salaries, they're low, and they're always going to be low now because, first of all, you have an officially declining population, so the demand is going to shrink. You've also got legions of people that are interested in Korean culture. I'll just talk about Korea for now. You've got K-pop, K-dramas. Foreigner wants to hook up with Korean girls and stuff like that. So they're like, yeah, just bring me to Korea. And so they get a free apartment. They get $1,500 every month. That's like a divine gift. And what's better than that? And the same goes for Japan. The pays, people want to go to Japan. Anime and all the gaming and things like that, dating and stuff. Many of the young people are interested in going there. So those numbers that you see in Korea and Japan, I don't think you're going to see much movement in them in the future, if ever again. But for China, you don't have that cultural push the same way. I mean, I'm sure that there's China fans out there. And look, there is a huge travel industry for China. I think China's the #1 learned foreign language in the world, I think. So, but in terms of like pop culture, it doesn't have that grab, that something that grabs people to make them just want to come and live here for no reason, and not really care about money. So it makes it tough for these schools that are popping up all over the place now to find teachers, qualified teachers. It's very difficult. So naturally, they know they got to cough up more money. Korea and Japan, they're like, why would I pay more money? I've got 1,000 kids coming out of school here that want to come here for $1,500 a month. I'm cool with that. I'm not going to move the pay. The second one, kind of feeding off of the first one, is just the breadth of teaching opportunities in China. Again, 1.5 billion people. They're headstrong in education. You have got these international schools that are popping up like wildfire, academies and all that too. But really, these international schools are popping up everywhere, and they are desperate to find teachers. And obviously, the current circumstances makes it difficult for teachers to come here. But just in general, people aren't super interested in coming to China. At least not like with that interest that, say, Korea, Japan, Thailand, they hold. People just want to go there. Why do you want to go there? I don't know. I just want to go there. It just seems so cool. It's got like K-pop and anime. I just can't get enough of that. And Thailand, for its obvious reasons. The thing about Korea also is this. It's a very small country. And so because of that, it's the population kind of gets on board with each other, and things kind of go in harmony much more easily than a country as massive as China. The English ability of the general population in Korea is increasing, and I think it's probably the best of all the places that I've lived in and the places that I've visited. I've visited most of the countries in Southeast Asia. I've lived in Japan. I've visited there multiple times. I lived in Korea a couple times. I can tell you that Korea is the highest, in my opinion, the general population. Japan, surprisingly low. I don't understand why, but you go around and you talk to people and they just kind of like, what? I don't know what you're saying. Southeast Asia as well, not counting the Philippines, it's a very low English level. But in Korea, you can go most places, not even the big cities, Seoul, Busan, and people are able to piece together even the smallest number of vocabulary words to form a sentence and communicate on a certain level. Then there's China with 1.5 billion people. And you've got this, they're coming into money now. They've got enormous amounts of money. Like I said, they're headstrong on education, particularly delivering education in English. And so you've got these international schools popping up like wildfire. And because of that, they need teachers, and there's just this swath of jobs opening up, just not the great supply. And so it's there's a situation arising that they're hiring non-native English speakers for teachers. Not that they're any less effective. In fact, there's probably teachers from native-speaking countries that probably shouldn't be teaching. But you get into hiring people from Russia or the Philippines and whatnot. As good as they are, from the parent standpoint, they're like, why are we paying all this money? I want a native English speaker. But all these jobs, they can't be filled because the demand, the supply is not there from the teacher standpoint. So you've got this anomaly. Who knows how long it'll last. I think it's for a long foreseeable future, this great supply of jobs. And so it allows you to be able to pick and choose. And again, the salaries vary. So the salaries are high. The jobs are plentiful. Japan, Korea, by contrast, I mean, if there ever was a golden age, I know some people talk about it, it's definitely over. I mean, Korea's got a declining population. The general public can speak English at a increasing level now. And so I think if you're a person that just wants to go live there for your own reasons, you really like the culture, you're into whatever you're into, you'll always be able to do that. But the jobs and the golden age and the money and that kind of thing, the real opportunities for growth as a person, as a teacher, they're definitely in China right now. Third thing, big thing, it kind of redefines the whole situation, is the cost of living. Let's go back to China. Let's go back to Korea for a moment. Off the charts. Korea's cost of living is through the roof. Housing is through the roof. Goods and services are through the roof. Your food going out to restaurants is very expensive. Your average meal is going to be $7, $8, $9, $10 for a decent meal. You can go and have simple carbs, just a bowl full of noodles. Yes, that'll be cheaper. But when you start getting into proteins, quality vegetables, and things like that, and a drink, well, it goes up. Here in China, it's probably about half of that. I live in Dongguan. The population 9 million people. This apartment that I live in is $400, 2 floors, brand spanking new, 2 bedrooms, never been lived in, fully furnished. You go to Korea, you go to Seoul, and I lived in a bread box for $500 a month, and I was making a whole lot less. Let me tell you that much right now. Yes, as you go out of the main hubs in places like Korea and Japan, the cost of living will go down. But look, the infrastructures and the quality of living in those countries is far superior to China right now. China is coming up the curve, but to maintain that quality of living, it costs money. And teaching is not something you get into if you really want to make money, like real money. But when we're talking about our little arena here, it's tough to save because of those reasons. China, much higher pay than the other countries, much lower cost of living. This right here goes into your pocket. And so that's a huge, huge difference. Fourth thing, big thing to me, maybe not a big thing to you, but a lot of people do this teaching or traveling, wandering, wanderlust, because they want to kind of go check out the cultures and take their time doing it. And so maybe they do. And I think that most people go and they hit the big ticket items, and I think that's good enough for them. Sometimes it's good enough for me. Staying in the genre of East Asian countries, you go to a country like Korea. It's a small geographical area. So the whole thing with the old neighborhoods and whatnot, they're gone. They're being replaced by condos and all that kind of stuff. The UNESCO World Heritage Site, and there are plenty of them in Korea and Japan. I saw this joke once where Rising Wasabi, I think is the website. It said, UNESCO decides to make all of Japan a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Kind of reminds me of Korea, like there's so many of them. Those UNESCO World Heritage Sites, they are gentrified. They're refurbished. They are rebuilt. They're shiny and new now. They're not original. And understandably so. It's meant for the traveler that wants to come and see it. Look, that's what this used to be. This used to be this important historical thing. But it's perfect, right? It's all new wood or steel and stuff like that. The grounds are all flowers and nice. So you can you get to imagine what the original form could be like. That's fine. But you can't see any of the original forms really. In China, again, the country's huge. There are just countless places that you can go where the money hasn't reached yet. And you go to Thailand and all these temples and the palaces in Korea, the castles in Japan, they're all nice and perfect and pristine. It's hard to find the original state. You can find that in China. You can say, wow, this beat up thing here is history. I'm looking at the history right now. And the neighborhood that I just walked through to come here, that's a rough street. I mean, that is rough old China right there. That's the real China right there. And so it's ungentrified in a way. And I think that that's a special element that you can enjoy as you travel throughout China. It's changing quickly. I don't think it'll ever be over the top just because China's a huge place. But that is one thing that I really enjoy here. I can go to a neighborhood, I can see a structure or a temple or something like that and say, wow, that has not been all made up yet. So that's pretty cool. Last thing, number 5, because I'm running out of space on my disk here. being able to travel within the country is very easy. Now, that's good for China because it's huge. You've got these 10 massive cities or however many super cities they've got here. And with the high-speed rails and the rapidly growing just the rail network and then the subway network, also just hopping on a plane to fly to one of these cities, I mean, it's a very different feel from city to city because they're so far away from each other. It's very easy to do. It's not expensive. It's cheap, actually. Even for me, Dongguan, I can go to Guangzhou and Shenzhen in about an hour, hour and a half. So it's great. I can also go to Beijing on a quick flight. You don't have to worry about visa stuff. It's also good because there's other Asian cultures that kind of bleed over into China. So, for example, in the southwestern part of China, I believe, I'm going to go visit there. And if you look at pictures of this place, you would swear that you are in Thailand. The temples or the buildings or whatnot, they are in the style of Thailand. The people are Thai there. There's Thai, the Thai language is spoken there. So that's really cool. And just all throughout, you've got Inner Mongolia and whatnot. So you can go to these places. I hope that before my time here in China is over, that I can go visit some of these places. I've been to Zhangjiajie with the Avatar Mountains and things like that. I've been to Beijing and around to a few places, but there's so many places left to see. I really hope that I get the chance to do that before I leave. I'm not going to be in China forever, but there's a lot to see. I hope things clear up so that I'm able to do that. Anyway, those are 5 great things on why you should consider teaching in China, even if you never did before. I never thought that I would teach in China. Not even a thought. But now that I'm here, if I had my ups and downs, I've had my ups and downs. But as I take a step back, I keep a 30,000-foot view on it. I can appreciate certain elements of it. A lot of those things I named in this video, particularly the money. But while I'm here, I'm also able to enjoy some other things. Anyway, thanks for watching and enjoying my new bat cave. I hope you like the Raiders. See you next time. Peace.